This month we celebrated 2 years of marriage and over 12 years of being together, which is crazy because that means that we're only 4 years from being together as long as we were alive apart. Does that make sense?
We've been through literally everything together. Highs and lows, sickness and health, richer or poor, travels and homestay. We've literally grown up together.
Hello lovers, my name is Tyler.
And I'm Sheldon. Welcome to Lavender Lingo. We know that romantic relationships are different in our community. Not everyone aspires to have one, and some people aspire to have many. Regardless, we thought we'd give you our top 10 tips on being a modern LGBT couple who gets to live and love whoever the hell they want to.
Because so many people have fought for this life and still continue to fight for it today. Tip number 10.
Social standards are trash.
I know this is gonna sound weird coming from us, but you don't have to get married. Marriage changes absolutely nothing about a relationship. Sheldon and I were together for 10 years before we decided to get married, and honestly, getting married did nothing except for give us the proper documentation.
I mean, there are reasons too, like healthcare, government recognition, in case you commit a crime. But relationships are what you make them.
Right. In the same vein of marriage, I guess, if you are gonna get married, you don't have to have a wedding. I mean, weddings are kind of going out of style anyway, but if you want to have one, that's cool too.
Right, do what you want. Like, for instance, Tyler and I got married at the courthouse here in New York City and then spent all the money we would have spent on a wedding on a 2-week trip to Thailand, which was amazing.
Yeah, and we're gonna go back to Thailand on our 5th year anniversary and get remarried, I guess.
Redo the wedding.
Bring our chosen family to Thailand and have a beautiful dinner with them on the beach somewhere.
Yeah.
Dressed really amazingly.
That's the goal. Another thing, you don't have to have kids. Thankfully and not so thankfully, it's a little more difficult for us. So you get to choose when in life it's right for you. So that means that it's not really an expectation by society.
We get to be more methodical, I guess. I mean, to be honest, we have the opportunity to do so. You have the ability to ensure that you are ready to have a kid. That means space for them or even financially ready because children are an expensive burden. Do you want to have kids?
Maybe, someday.
I think I do.
I think I might.
Really? I wasn't expecting you to say that. You said maybe, we went back down to maybe.
Building a family can mean a lot of different things, and luckily, we get the freedom to explore what's possible. Take the time to really think about what you want out of life as a couple. Realize that society has super outdated standards that mostly apply to cis-normative relationships anyways, and we get to create our own path forward instead of one that was predetermined for us.
Right. We really don't have to fit into those standards that somebody has to be the breadwinner and somebody has to be a stay-at-home parent in order to take care of a family. We get to decide how we want to build that family. Right now, that just means having a couple fur babies that we wish we could both be stay-at-home parents for.
Number 9.
Fight
a lot.
Learning to communicate in a relationship is all about fighting. And, oh, no. One of the most important things to do in a relationship is learning to communicate with each other. Most relationships nowadays end early because people don't realize that fighting is just a part of the process of building a long-term relationship.
Absolutely, because it's easier to just go swipe right on somebody else. Probably the best and worst advice we ever got from a complete stranger was you have to be able to know that you can say "F you" and the love is not diminished.
One time we were walking in Denver, we were like a cute young little gay 16-year-old couple, and this homeless guy, I mean, I don't know that he was homeless, but he didn't look...
He gave the essence.
Didn't look the most put together. Walked out of this house that was not abandoned, but looked like it could have been, and walked up to us and told us that we were a cute couple and literally said those exact words. And we've taken that to heart, because we say that frequently. Also, being able to communicate means that you have to listen and learn, especially when it comes to the hard things to talk about.
You have to own your truth, even if your partner won't like it.
I know something that Sheldon and I have faced is that, especially early on in our relationship, we would often lie to each other about things that we didn't want to share with the other in fear of judgment, but learning to communicate is all about learning to be able to say those hard things and the other person be able to take in those hard things without blowing up on each other, which it takes a lot of practice to get to that point.
Yeah, amen.
And it doesn't always happen. Sometimes you still blow up.
But you have to learn how to cultivate open and honest communication with each other. That's quintessential to a healthy relationship. And that's a skill that you can develop over time. You just have to put in work.
The next one is going to make us both saints and sinners. Number 8 is
physical connection is equal to emotional connection. It's important to communicate your wants and desires and for you two to explore those together. Having transparency with your sexual preferences deepens your physical and emotional connection.
One example of this is when we got to go to a bathhouse in Costa Rica.
Just a couple of admitted whores.
Which is a brand new experience for both of us at the time.
Definitely.
First of all, neither of us have ever really been naked in front of a whole bunch of other people like that, and so that was a whole experience in itself. But before we went, we got to talk about what we wanted from the experience, and we also set clear boundaries that we were both okay with. But being able to have that open conversation together is really what made the experience as fun and exciting as it actually was.
Take the time to understand each other from a non-judgmental point of view and realize that everything is a compromise. Understand physical connection is more than just sex, and intimacy is made in the little moments.
We've also found through this long relationship that sometimes it's hard to set aside time. Hard, but important. Especially when you're both busy or when you're feeling down and depressed. We know it's hard. We've gone through all of that together. But you also have to be there for your partner physically and emotionally. You have to be ready to be the shoulder to cry on, even if you want to be the one crying.
And that means that you have to push yourself sexually at times when you might not be into it and would rather be on the couch watching British Bake Off. Number 7 is
to keep them on their toes.
Keeping them on their toes means making life enjoyable by keeping things fun between you. One of our favorite activities.
I thought one of our favorite activities was arguing. No, because that is what
keeps fun too.
That keeps them on their toes. In fact, one of our most famous arguments that Sheldon and I have constantly had is that there is a duck living across the hallway.
The duck. There's not a duck. Tyler tried to convince me there was a duck, and I never believed it. I believed it briefly, actually.
Sully and I would hear the duck, and we would for some reason Sheldon couldn't hear the duck, and that's not our fault. I don't know if he's losing his hearing or what, but if the dogs and I can hear it, it's there.
But it wasn't, and it never was.
It is.
What's mine? What are my annoying things that I do to keep you in your toes?
Everything.
Like saying twofer every time that we walk through the subway on one payment.
Don't admit crimes on YouTube. That, I hate it. No, the point is to make jokes, be spontaneous, have fun.
Keep it goofy.
And never stop surprising your partner with new antics that you have. And number 6 is to
create adventure.
To create an adventure as a partner means to travel, take on businesses, start a new project, start a family, learn a new skill or hobby.
Because let's be honest, sometimes modern life can be kind of mundane, and I think one of the best things that we get to do is create an exciting life together. We get to go to fun new places and go ziplining and explore the jungle and create our home together and paint and decorate and start businesses and figure things out together, and it's just always something fresh and new. And I think that that is one of the greatest gifts that we have, is that we really have the opportunity to take this life and make it exciting.
Throughout our relationship, we've experienced times when we are just doing the exact same thing over and over and over again, and by creating moments like this where we're able to start exploring and start doing new things, we really push our relationship forward and onto the next stage, and we create happiness in our relationship, excitement.
We get to experience new things together and learn new things together, and it's great.
Which comes the next one, is to try new things as a couple. Do not stick with the same concepts. Don't only do the same new and exciting thing. Do everything new together.
Right. You don't ever want to be stagnant. You always want to be moving and changing and trying new things, because the point is to grow together, not just to stay the same.
Your life doesn't have to stop when you meet someone, when you start a family, or even when you have kids. The whole idea of being able to grow and create this new adventure together is to just keep growing together and keep building each other up. Keep your relationship growing forward and moving on to the next stage. It's always about moving forward.
And trying new things. Having an exciting life.
Yeah. We think this video is going to be a little bit too long, so we want to break it into 2 parts.
So, if you like what you heard today and you thought it was good advice, stay tuned for our next video where we give you the top 5 things that we've learned together over our 12-year relationship. Till then, stay bold, stay beautiful.